welcome to my kitchen. I have some plans to make something that is going to be for another video that'll help us all get ready for Super Bowl Sunday. But in order to make that recipe, I need some of those King's Hawaiian rolls, okay, that we all can go to the grocery store and buy. But I thought it might be fun to try and figure out how to make my own. So that's what we're going to do today. Whether it's a complete fail or a total success, we'll all know together. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to try and make our version of the Hawaiian sweet rolls that everybody loves. So what we're going to do is I've got 3 cups of flour in my mixer bowl. And we're going to start out with half of the amount of flour. We need between 7 and 8 cups of flour total. Okay, so there's 3 cups in there now. What we're going to do is we're going to add, what I have here is a cup of whole milk and a stick of butter that I have heated together until the butter melted. Plop.
What?
Half a cup of warm water. In it goes. 2/3 of a cup of sugar. In that goes.
Just want to see who you're talking to.
This is the equivalent of 2 packets of yeast, so it's 5 teaspoons of, this is instant yeast, that's all I ever use, okay? 1 cup of pineapple juice, in that goes. Let's get this on the mixer with the dough hook and get it stirring up. You could, if you like, start with the paddle and then switch over to the dough hook. I just always, with bread, I always start with the dough hook because I can't see dirtying 2 things. It really does. We're going to mix this up. I'm going to go ahead and mix it a little faster. I'm going to switch places with Rick. Oh, I almost forgot. 3/4 of a cup of instant potato flakes. And get that mixed in there. And we're going to start cracking some eggs in there. Ooh, sorry. Teaspoon of vanilla. One egg. Let that incorporate. 2 eggs.
You do like to count. 2 eggs.
3 eggs. Oops. Don't
It's all fun and games
do
until somebody loses an eye.
or a shell. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Break your eggs in a separate container, please. That's what makes me real. Okay. Now we will continue to put we're going to go ahead and add flour a cup at a time. 2, okay. Just 1 extra cup of flour.
Pretty dry here now.
What?
It's pretty dry here now, so we'll use less flour.
I probably use closer to 7 cups than 8. This would be 5 cups total. Use this. Huh?
Not necessary.
Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, that in goes number 6, cup number 6. I'm gonna let that hang out for a minute before I add cup number 7. You see how it's traveling around the bottom of the bowl? There's still quite a bit of flour down there. Like I've said before when we've made bread dough, you want to make sure that your flour is completely hydrated before you go adding more flour. Because if you end up adding too much flour, your rolls or your bread or whatever you're making are just going to be tough and like rocks. That's why the kneading process is so important. It helps to get the flour completely hydrated and build gluten, which gives you a good strand, which gives you a good molecular structure and crumb to your bread. And I can see now it is hydrated. You see how it's turned into a gloppy mess in the bottom of that bowl? We're going to go ahead and add an additional cup of flour. So that's cup number 7. Let's see what that looks like. It's starting to stick to the hook. And then this bread is going to be a bit on the sticky side. You're probably not going to get that nice cohesive ball of dough. It's going to be kind of on the soft side. You're going to think you need to keep adding flour, but you should not. So this is 7 cups of flour. It says that I can, in my experience, we can add another cup to this. I could possibly add another half cup because I think it still looks a little sticky.
I concur.
I think that looks better already. Yep. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and knead this for 7 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer. I'm going to keep the machine on the slow setting, and I'm going to let it knead for 7 minutes. Our kneading time has come to an end, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab this out of here real quick. Help. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little bit of a spray with some cooking oil spray, and you see it is a little bit on the sticky side, so don't be alarmed. It's beautiful dough. Smells really good too. Okay, we're going to put a bonnet on this, and we're going to go ahead and let it rise till it's double. So probably about 45 minutes to an hour in my area. If you are at a higher altitude, it's probably going to take a lot less time. So when it's time to break this down out into rolls, which is how we're going to make it, I'll be back, show you how we do that. All right, our dough has completely risen. I'm taking off my rings. You just can't stand it, can you? And you see it's a little bit sticky, but that's all right. And well, that was from my plastic.
I'm gonna flour the board.
I'm not going to flour the board. I'm just going to take this out, just like that. I'm just going to press out the air a bit. Now, you have a few ways you can do this. I'm going to, well, see, I forgot. I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of squeeze it in half. Just like that. And I'm going to start dividing it in half again. Any way that you can do it. And what we're going to shoot for here is we're shooting for 2-ounce rolls, okay? I want to make them into rolls. I don't want to make them into a round loaf. And that is, the way we achieve that is by cutting them up the best that we think we can, and then we will get a scale out, and I'm going to get that out in just a second here. In fact, let me grab that. Now, I had it, it was in my hands yesterday. Do you think I can get it in my hands today in my cabinet? I have this really needs a wipe down. It was in my cabinet, so
I'm going to put a paper bowl on it.
I am going to put a paper bowl on it. This is not a kitchen scale, but it is a scale nonetheless. I got it from my office because we got a postage meter several years ago, and then we did not need this scale. So, this is the kind of scale that you want when you are weighing. You know, you can get a kitchen scale that works perfectly fine as well. You always want to start with, if you're going to put a plate on it, you always want to turn it on with the plate on it, so it zeroes out, okay? So let's see. That's almost perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a 2-ounce roll. 2 ounces exactly. Mm-hmm. After a while, you kind of get good at it. That's a little bit big, so we'll take some off. Now it's a little too small. You get the idea. Exactly. Okay. So anywhere, it doesn't have to be perfect every time, trust me. See, that's just not. If you're in the general area, you're good. See, I'm not going to change that. 2.2 is fine. But like that, that's 2.6. That's too much. Just pinch some off and see where you're at. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and weigh all these out and get everything divided, and then when I come back I'll show you what happens next. Okay, we are back, and I've just about finished up rolling these into rolls, and we've weighed them out. They are all approximately 2 ounces, and we've got a pan here with 20 and a pan here that will have 16 or so, and so approximately 3 dozen rolls if you do it like that. Now, after we get our dough portioned out, we want to roll it properly. Now, you'll notice that I didn't put any flour on my board, and I usually don't when I'm rolling dough out. I know a lot of people do. I think adding extra flour takes some moisture out of the bread, and it can affect the final outcome. So if your flour and your dough is hydrated properly and it has a good texture and consistency, now not all doughs are like that. I mean, this was a bit sticky, but as I started working with it, it wasn't sticking to the board at all. We're going to take your piece of dough to roll it into a dinner roll.
And a non-stick board helps too.
These restaurant boards are a good investment as well, and they're not that expensive. They're about $10 for one. At Sam's Club is where I get them. We don't have Costco in my area, only Sam's Club. So what you're going to do is you're going to cup your hand. Some people use 2 hands to do this. I don't find that necessary. If I have 2 hands and was ambidextrous, I could probably roll 2 rolls at one time. But that's just me. You're going to cup it. You're going to press down, and you're going to kind of let that dough freely roll in your hand until it smooths out and tightens up. And what's going to happen is it's going to turn into this beautiful, perfect, round roll. Nice and smooth. You look at the bottom, there are no seams, and you're going to put it in your pan. You're going to do it again. You're going to cup it, roll it. You're kind of, if I were to slow my hand down, then you would see. I'm kind of manipulating the dough between my fingers like that, and I'm pressing it on the board as I go. And the faster that I do that, this takes practice. I've been doing it for a long time, so if you can't get it the first couple of times, keep at it, and you'll understand. You'll start to feel the way it feels, and you make a big circle with your hand, and you're rolling that dough underneath it. You're touching every fingertip essentially, and you're pushing it with your thumb through the palm of your hand. And as you cup your hand, it forms a nice smooth ball. And that's how we're going to do that. I'm going to get another bonnet. I'm going to put it over this pan. We're going to let these rise until they are double in size once again. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And when these are finished rising, I will come back and I will show you what they look like right before we put them in the oven. Okay, our rolls are ready to go in the oven. They have risen to double their size, and you know, it's not an exact science, but when you see that they've reached nearly the top of the pan and they look nice and snug in there, that's when it's time to put them in the oven. I always put my bread for the second rising on top of my stove as I'm preheating, so it really serves 2 purposes, and I'm able to rise them just a little bit quicker. So in they go. I'm going to put them...
That warm oven feels good on the food.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to go ahead and put them right there on the top. In they go. We're going to bake them for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to check them. Okay, these are ready to come out of the oven. Look at them. Are they not gorgeous?
They look as good as it smells right now.
It smells amazing in here. The only thing we're going to do before we leave them to cool is I'm just going to take, I have this half a stick of butter that was in my fridge. Just wrap the paper around it the best you can. Rub it on. You can melt it and use a pastry brush, but you know, why mess the pastry brush, right? This works too. This pan over here, which is perfect and beautiful and completely unadulterated, is going to be used for my supper tonight. And I'm going to make something that will give you guys a different idea of something to make for Super Bowl. And I'm going to make those with this pan. This pan...
Have these?
No, you can't have any. Until they're cool. They're too hot to eat.
Take my chance.
I'll hide them. I'll put them outside to cool.
In my belly.
You did not just say that. They look fantastic. I'm going to pull one open here in just a second. They're soft and fluffy. No, I'm going to show everybody at home what they look like. I'm not going to tease you, but you can't eat them. Let's see. Let's take this big ugly one over here.
I don't care what it looks like.
I know you don't, honey. Oh, look at that. Okay, and you know we made this honey butter in another video. Let me grab a knife.
You just had one.
It's in the water. Oh, you can't spread with a steak knife.
You just had one.
Oh, Richard. Very clean. You should not eat these when they're so hot because, first of all, you'll get a stomach ache. But I want to cut it open so you can see what it looks like. Oh, this hot. Oh, it's beautiful. They're beautiful. Rick's over here drooling. I'm gonna have to wipe up in a minute. Look at that.
She's down the front of my shirt.
A little honey butter on there. Yeah, these aren't going to last long in my house for sure. All right. That's how you make Hawaiian style sweet rolls for your next party or just because. They're gorgeous. They smell amazing. I hope you try them. I hope you love them. Until next time, I'll see ya.